All right, let's talk outer ankle sprain. So it is the most common. It's called an inversion sprain. Typically, it happens when the ankle rolls in, like walking, tripping, things like that. But anytime the ankle is strained on the outside because it gets rolled in, it's called an inversion sprain. And I wanted to show you the ligaments involved that were pretty tender on you where I was poking. So this one I'm on right here, this set of two, it's called your anterior talofibular ligament. So it connects, let me back up so you can see the whole ankle. It connects your talus, which is this big bone, the biggest bone in your actual foot, aside from your calcaneus, your heel bone. But see how this top part of it is nice and convex here? When your actual ankle joint, which is made up of your two shin bones, your tibia, which is this front one, and your fibula, they make this convex section so that your ankle can move up and down very smoothly. Now, when you sprain that side of the ankle, the bones that either connect fibula to tibia, so this is called your tibiofibular ligament, or your fibula to the talus, or the fibula to the calcaneus, to your heel bone, those are the ones that are going to be at play. So that is why I was doing little joint mobilizations on your fibula at the top as well as at the bottom, because anytime that there's swelling or inflammation, it's going to get a little stiff. And what happens when it gets stiff, let's talk mobility-wise and why I was kind of moving your ankle around the way I was doing it. So if we have a pin on here, when your ankle moves up, like if you're pulling your toes up towards your face, or let's say like your foot is on the ground and you are doing kind of a lunge and you're pushing your knee forward, when this tibia, since it's a bone, so you're pretty mechanical brained, is moving forward, okay, like what has to happen on the bike as well. When you are up at the top of your pedal stroke and your ankle is bent, your fibula is really moving forward, but since it's a bone, this back end has to also be able to move back. Think kind of like a seesaw. One goes one way, one goes the other way. When this is stiff and this does not have good motion moving back, you end up just not having the same fluid motion that you typically do in your leg. Now, the other alternative, let me clear that off, is that if you are thinking of concave on convex here, when you are up at the top of your pedal stroke, or at the bottom, either way, when your ankle is having to flex in these two directions, like up and down, okay, not coming in or out, right here where this has to slide, so since this is concave, it has to be able to come forward, right? Well, think of this area. If we're not talking these two bones moving on your foot, if we're talking foot moving on leg, which can also happen on the bike and in running, if you are pointing your foot down or up, this whole area needs to be able to glide really well. So when I was telling you that I was pulling it down this direction and gapping this joint, I was working on that. It also slides side to side underneath this talus, so I was working on making sure things move well. I think that is going to be helpful for you, so I'm going to send you a couple videos of how to do a self ankle mob, like a mobilization. The other thing I wanted to show you is that muscle-wise and nerve-wise, what all is happening down here, because you've got a good picture of ligaments that could get strained, but there's all this areas where swelling can just hang out, and since there's gravity, it's going to stay down there. But let's add on muscles. Okay, so you've got one guy here. That's pretty darn deep. That's an accessory muscle, like it helps to pull the ankle up, but it also happens to be in an area where you get discomfort. I also had a needle right near that tendon and right into these ligaments here. And if you can see, well, it's not going to let me take connective layer off here. this guy, that is your posterior tib. I don't think it is involved as far as what is discomfort on you. I just wanted to show you how deep some of these muscles are. Okay, another one that comes off the front. Extensor hallucis longus, that muscle right here, its only job really is to lift the toe. So when you're cycling, I always end up feeling actually my big toe. I pull my toe up as well as the whole ankle because it's going to help move the ankle up slightly, but really its main job is to pull the toe up. So just think in layers here. Look how many layers we already have. This next deep layer, so you can see the whole thing, lifts your toes up. Also can get very fatiguing in cycling if you're not pulling with whole leg, if you end up kind of pulling literally your ankle up. All of these are in familiar zones that you had discomfort down here. Then we get into a little bigger muscle. I don't think that your tibialis anterior is as at play because of where it goes, but that is the main muscle that pulls your foot up. Okay, so we have all these options. The other ones I wanted to show you on the side, they take the ankle out to the side, like they do these motions. So depending on how stiff your shoe is on the bike, you know, some play, you were tender down here, but I feel like the bulk of your discomfort was a little bit more in the front. So I think some of these smaller ones are what's just getting irritated. But if we look at nerves, okay. So when I zoom in, oops. I was really, really close with the needle to this nerve. Okay, let's go to the nerve right above it actually. So this is called your superficial fibular nerve. It comes off of your common fibular nerve, which is, it dives pretty deep underneath here. But what can happen, and what I think happens with you more on the bike than on the run, is when these muscles around it get fatigued, if they put pressure on this nerve, or let's say that doesn't even happen, let's say down here, if there's any irritation down here, it is going to cause discomfort in this area, okay? So what it does is it provides some of the sensation down here, but it also does sensation down to the foot. Okay. The other one I wanted to show you, if it will let me take off this muscle there. Okay. So the other one I wanted you to be aware of, and why I needled you up on your shin, all right, so this is your deep fibular nerve. It also wraps a little bit around this head, comes down, and it gives, it does the anterior side of the leg, excuse me. So it comes down here, but it dives really deep and goes down here. So you have a lot of options of what could be involved. I was hitting neural and muscular and trying to make everything move better, because really you can't just have one thing. That's the issue. A lot of other things are going to come into play. But right here is your zone of discomfort, and I think that there's just quite a bit going on, whether it's this nerve, or there's muscle, or it's purely ligaments. You were very point tender here, but I think it's just a combination of things that are resulting in that.